Welcome to Naresh Technologies. I'm Bangar Raju, and in this video I want to demonstrate about extension methods. What are these extension methods? Actually, this is a new feature that has been added in C# 3.0. This is a new feature that has been added in C# 3.0. So what exactly is the advantage with this, and why do we use these extension methods? First, let us understand about this. Suppose I have a class and the class contains 10 methods in it. There are 10 methods in that class. Now what I want to do is I wanted to add some 5 methods in that class. Okay, so let me take paint here, just a second. Now just have a look. Assume this is a class now. And in this particular class, we have some 10 methods. There are some 10 methods in this class. And my intention is to add some new methods into this class now. My intention is to add some new methods into this particular class. Just wanted to add some new methods in the class. Now, if you wanted to add new methods into an existing class, remember, basically, you will come across some few problems. What are the two problems you will be coming across? The first problem what you will come across is, you may not have the source code of this class. You may not have the source code of this particular class. So this is the class now, but unfortunately the source code of the class is missing now. What is that source code missing? Yeah, you will not have the source code of every class with you. See, suppose I wanted to add a method into string class. It's never possible. Why? We don't have the source code of the string class. So same way, the source code of this particular class if not available, you cannot add new methods into the class. And the second problem what you will come across is, sometimes you may not be having permissions to make modifications in the class. What permissions are not available? Already this class is defined long back, some 6 months, 1 year back. And this class is already sent for testing, and the testing team came out, there are no errors in the code. Everything is perfect. So now if you want to add new methods into the class, again the whole code requires to be sent for testing. So that is unnecessary waste of time for the developers and the testers basically. Okay, because why? The code again required to be retested. So this is the second problem what we come across. So how to resolve this? To resolve this particular problem, one mechanism what we choose is inheritance. What is that? Now define a child class here. Define one child class. And after defining a child class here, okay, so this is a new class what I am going to define now. And now this class is my child class. Remember, this importantly, this is a child class for the above class. And after defining this class, now whatever new methods I want to define, you can define in this. Okay, so you better inherit. You're just going to inherit, and once after inheriting, all the 10 methods will be automatically inherited to child class. Now what is your idea now? You want to write some 5 new methods now. The 5 new methods what I want to define, you can just define this particular. So one point to understand, what is it? For inheriting, you don't require the source code of this class. Even you have a compiled assembly of that particular class also, we can just perform inheritance. And second thing is, permissions are not required. Why? I am not going to make any changes in this class. This class I am not at all disturbing. I am only going to add a new class, and I am going to define all the methods in the new class. So right now, what is going to happen? Using the child class, you can call all the 15 methods over there. Using the child class, we can call all the 15 methods over there. All the 15 methods, we can just call it by using the child class instance. So that is the advantage what you have in this particular place. Okay, fine. Now, inheritance is one mechanism using which we can extend the functionalities of a class. What is it? Inheritance is a mechanism using which we can extend the functionalities of a class. Yes, we are extending the functionalities now. See, there are 10 methods and you want to add 5 new methods, but you are not able to add here. So what we done? We gone for inheritance. When we went for inheritance, automatically all the 10 methods are inherited to child class, and now the 5 methods are defined here. So totally we have 15 methods now. So this is one way how we can extend the functionalities of a class. But unfortunately, there are some few problems in inheritance. What are the few problems? The problem is, first problem, this is a sealed class. If this is a sealed class, inheritance will not work. We cannot apply inheritance on sealed classes now. We cannot apply inheritance on sealed classes. So if this is a sealed class, I cannot inherit and define the new 5 methods in the child class now. This is not possible. So this is the first problem what you face. Second problem, unfortunately this is not a class here. This is going to be a structure. I want to add methods into an existing structure, not a class. And don't forget, we cannot apply inheritance on structure. A structure cannot be inherited. Okay. The second problem is, if the original type is not a class and it's a structure. If the original type, original type means I am talking about this one. I am talking about this. If the original type is not a class and it is a structure, in both these two scenarios, I cannot apply inheritance now. When I can apply inheritance, I can apply inheritance provided this is a class, and that too it is not a sealed class. But if it is a sealed class or if this is a structure, I cannot apply inheritance. This is the problem what we have. Okay, and one more thing. See, right now I want to extend the functionalities of this class. Which class? This class. But because I don't have permissions or I don't have a source code, I went for child class. I went for child class and tried to define all the things in the child class. And total 15 methods came. But the main point to remember is, we cannot call these 15 methods by using the instance of the original class. We should call it only by using the child class. The original class instance can call only 10 methods, but child class can call all the 15 methods. Even though we are telling we are extending the functionalities of a class, we are able to call the methods of the parent and child classes by using the child class instance, but not by using the parent class instance. This is another issue what we require to take into consideration. Okay. So to overcome these particular problems in C# 3.0, Microsoft introduced as a concept called as extension methods. So what is this extension method? Extension method is a mechanism using which we can add new methods into an existing class. It's a mechanism of adding new methods into an existing class or structure also, without modifying the source code of the original type. Also without modifying the source code of the original type. Okay. And in this process, we don't require any permissions from original type, and the original type doesn't require any recompilation. The original type doesn't require any recompilation. I don't require to take any permission from the original type, and the original type doesn't require any permission. It's a mechanism of adding new methods into an existing class or structure also, without modifying the source code of the original type. And in this process, we don't require any permissions from original type, and the original type doesn't require any recompilation. Okay, no need recompilation, no need permissions, nothing is required from the original type, but still I can add methods into that. Okay, let me an idea. Same again, I have a class. This is a class. and this class right now contains 10 methods in it. And very importantly, remember, this can be a class or it can be a structure also. This need not be a class. So just say it is a class or it can be a structure. Anything it can be. Anything. No issue. Maybe a class and maybe a structure. Whatever it is, it's not an issue. Now, I want to add 5 new methods into this. Okay. See, remember, I may not have permissions to do that, or I may not have source code of it, or it is a sealed class. It is a sealed class or it is a structure, whatever it is. But still 5 methods I wanted to add into that one. So I can add it. How can I add? First, take one new class. And a very important thing here is this class must be a static class. Take one new class and this particular class must be a static class right now. A static class means a class which can contain only static members in it. Now, the 5 methods whatever you want to define inside this class now. These methods define in this class. After defining the methods in this class, what we can do is we can bind these methods with, means these 5 methods are there now. We can take these 5 methods now and we can bind the 5 methods with the class we want. Class or structure, whatever it is, we can bind with this. So that is the advantage what we have in case of your extension methods. So what to do now? First take one static class, define all the methods into the static class. After binding all the methods into the static class now just go for binding these methods to the class or structure you wanted to do. Any class, you can bind to any class or you can bind to any structure. Maybe there is a sealed class also, we don't have any problem here. So that is the idea behind the extension methods. Let us see this practically. First, I am just going to open a new project, a console application. I'll name this as test, or simply I'll call extension methods project. And every console application by default comes with a program class. Yeah, we have a program class here. In this program class, just for example, I am defining 2 simple methods in it. Public void test1 console.writeLine. Same way, public void test2 console.writeLine. A very simple class. Now I can create the instance of my class here. Program P is equals to new program. And after creating the instance of it, you can come over, call the methods p.test1 and p.test2 console.readline, execute, and it executes. So nothing special, just a normal class. Yeah, the 2 methods got executed for us in this place. Okay, just 2 methods, method 1, method 2. Now, I want to add another method into this class. I wanted to add another method into this class. If at all you want to add another method, right now source code is with you, you can do it. Okay, but what I am telling is, in some scenarios, this source code may not be available to us. Or otherwise, source code is there, but this code is already sent for testing and the testing is completed. And because the testing is completed, when you said you want to add new methods in this, your team leader or your project leader may object it. Arey, why you make modifications again? Because already code is tested. If you make changes again, we need to send it for testing. So these type of problems may come. So what to do? Very simple. So I'm going to add a new method into this one. Let me close program class. So right now program class contains 2 methods, test1, test2. I am going to add a new method into the program class called test3 without modifying the source code of the program class. How to do? Watch. First, let us add one new class in this project, new class. I will name this as stat class. Why? Because this is what I said you here, extension methods can be defined only in static classes. So I am just calling it as a stat class, any name, stat class.cs, and this class must be a static class. Now let me define one method in this class, and do remember, every method you define in a static class must be a static method. So public static void test3, console dot write line method 3, console dot write line method 3. And now you remember, this method belongs to which class? Means static class. But I want to bind this method. Which method? The test3 method with program class. I want to bind it with program class. Okay, how to bind? See, very simple process. Actually, for this method I am saying int I. If I say int I, what is the meaning of this? The method test3 requires a value of which type? Integer to execute. Okay. Suppose if I say string s, the method test3 requires a value of type string now. It requires a value of type string. And what is string? String is a class. And at the same way, in the place of string, you can also say program. Why? Program is also class, string is also class, program is also class. So test3 of program, when I say test3 of program, the method test3 requires a value of type program to execute. It is going to require a value of type program to execute. But the whole meaning changes if I just put this here. How can we read this now? You know, the method test3 belongs to this class. This is the process of binding. This is how you are going to bind. See, right now, this method, I want to bind it with a class. Array, we are binding with a class here. You can bind with a structure also, not a problem. So this method, we are binding with a class. So how to perform the binding? This program P. So what is the meaning of the statement? You know, the method test3 belongs to this class. Which class? Program. Right now, if you want to verify, go and verify in the program class. Program class contains 3 methods in it. Okay. To show this, see, I am not opening the program class at all. Why? I don't have permissions to make modification in the program. So program, I am not opening it at all. Now let me add a new class. I will call this class as test extension methods. Test ext methods. This class is for testing the extension method, that's all. Static void main. Let us create the instance of program class. Program P equals to new program. Program P is equals to new program. And originally program class contains only 2 methods, P dot. But now you see there are 3 test methods, not 2 test methods. How did we get the third one? The third one is added to the program class as an extension method. You can see test1 belongs to program, test2 belongs to program, even test3 belongs to program. But it will tell you this is not a normal method, this is an extension method. And for understanding, you will be finding a down arrow mark here. The down arrow mark, whenever you see, remember that is going to be an extension method. This is a process how you can add a new method into a class without modifying the source code of the class. Remember the point here. You may having a doubt here. What is this? Can I do this only for classes in this project? No, no, not for the class in the project. You can add methods like this to any class, any structure, not a problem. Okay, I'll show you that also. Just a second. Meanwhile, first let me run this code and verify whether the code is executing or not. So open the project property window and setting the startup object as test extension methods. Method 3. We got method 3, and already we have method 1, method 2. If you want, you can call those particular also. P dot test1 and P dot test2 and finally P dot test3. Test3. Run, all 3 methods gets executed. And remember a point here. Once go to stat class, remove the this keyword here. If you remove the this keyword here, the method test3 doesn't belongs to stat class. The method test3 doesn't belong to stat class. That's why, come here, you're getting an error. Error at test string. Why are you getting an error? Because the binding should be done by this keyword, this program P. This is what. If you don't use this here, what is the meaning? The method test3 requires a value of type program to execute. But now what is the meaning? The method test3 belongs to program class. So basically this is a binding parameter used for binding a method with a class or a structure. Right now I bound it to a class. If you want, you can bind it to a structure also. Okay. So right now we don't have any structures here, but I'll show you an example how to bind to a structure. We'll see. But hope you are clear about this particular extension methods here. Now some few things I just want to tell you. What you know? The method is static method. The method is a static method. It is going to be a static method. And because it is going to be a static method, you will have a doubt here. What is the doubt? If it is a static method, we should call by using the instance of a class, sorry, name of the class. But you called it by using instance of the class. How is it possible? Extension methods are defined as a static, but once they are bound with a class, they will turn into non-static. Extension methods are defined as static, but once they are bound with any class or structure, they turn into non-static. They turn into non-static. That is why we are able to call it by using the instance. Okay. So this is the first important point to remember. Point number 2. If you define an extension method, with the same name and signature of the existing method, of an existing, see, what's it? I am writing a method called test2, but already test2 is present in your class. Okay, you define. You won't get any error when you are going to compile the code. You will not get any error while compiling the code. But we will be having a doubt here. We call the test3. Will it call the original method or will it call the extension method? Let us see. It is calling the original method. Extension method will not be called. So the second important point is, if an extension method is defined with the same name and signature of an existing method in the class, then extension method will not be called. And the first and the preference always goes to the original method only. So this is the second important point to remember. Okay. See, if I give a different name, not an issue, but if I give same name, don't expect the extension method. See, if this is called, output should be method 3, but output is not method 3, output is method 2. Output method 2 means original method is called. If it prints method 3, then extension method is called. Okay. So don't try to define an extension method with the same name and signature matching with the existing method inside the class. Okay. I'll change to test3 now. If I change to test3, I can call separately. 3 methods are there now. Now again the same old behavior what we have. What's it? 1, 2, 3 will be called. Next point. While defining an extension method, we have taken a parameter. While defining an extension method, we have taken a parameter. But while calling the method, you did not pass any value to the parameter, not required. Why? This parameter is only for binding. This parameter is only for binding the method with a class or a structure, and that parameter will never be taken into consideration. So while calling, you don't require to pass any values here. Any value is not required to be passed in this location. It's not required at all. Okay, so this is another point to remember. So here we did not pass anything. And now you'll have a doubt. Means if I want a method with any parameters now, you can define. You can define a method with parameter. Suppose the method test3, I want int as a parameter. You can define comma int I. And remember, it will ignore this parameter, not this. This int is taken into consideration. Come and watch. You're getting an error here. Why you getting an error? Because the method test3 requires a value of type integer for execution and I need to pass it. I am passing a value 10 here and the value 10 comes into I, and if I want, I can make use of this particular value. I can make use of this particular value here. You can see method 3 and the value I is got printed here. So, if we prefix with this, that is a binding parameter, and binding parameters will not be taken into consideration, but rest of all the parameters are taken into consideration. Okay. So, remember, the first parameter of an extension method should be the name of the type to which that method has to be bound with. The first parameter of an extension method should be the name of the type to which that method has to be bound with. Okay, and this parameter is not taken into consideration while calling the extension method. And an extension method should have one and only one binding parameter, and it should be in the first place of the parameter list. What is the meaning of this? I cannot have multiple binding parameters. There can be one and only one binding parameter. Multiple binding parameters are not allowed. And another point is, this must always be in the first place. You cannot define a binding parameter in the last. Binding parameter should be coming in the first, followed by your formal parameters. These are all formal parameters. Any number can be present, but binding parameter should be in the first place. Okay? And remember, if an extension method is defined with n parameters, then while calling it, there will be n minus 1 parameters only, because the binding parameter is excluded. Okay, because it is going to exclude the binding parameter, it is not taken into consideration at all. Okay, so these are the very important points to remember while working with extension method. What are those? First one, extension methods are defined as static, but once they are bound with any class or structure, they turn into non-static. If an extension method is defined with the same name and signature of an existing method in the class, then extension method will not be called, and the preference always goes to the original method only. Next, the first parameter of an extension method should be the name of the type to which that method has to be bound with, and this parameter is not taken into consideration while calling the extension method. And next point, an extension method should have one and only one binding parameter, and it should be in the first place of the parameter list. And lastly, I have given a note here. If an extension method is defined with n parameters, then while calling it, there will be n minus 1 parameters only, because the binding parameter is excluded. If you exclude the binding parameter, we'll be having only n minus 1 parameter. So this is the process to define the extension methods. Fine. Now, I was telling you earlier, you'll be having a doubt like, we can add extension methods only to the classes of the current project. No, you can add it to any type you want. You can add it to any type you want. What is that? Watch. I can add it to a class or a structure also, I said you. I'll prove you that. How? Int. What is int? Int is a predefined data type, and int comes under a category of structure. Int is a structure, string is a class, int is a structure. If you want to identify that, right click on this and just simply use the option called go to definition. When you say go to definition, it will take you to the metadata, and in the metadata you will be finding it public struct int32. The IL format of int is int32, and int32 is a structure. Okay. So why I am talking about this particular thing is because now I am going to add a new method into this structure. Which structure? Int32. How is it possible? We don't have a source code. That is what I am telling you. Source code is not required for you. Permissions not required for you. And recompilation of the original type is not required. Nothing is required, but still I can do it. See the beauty here. Int I is equals to 5. Now I want to calculate the factorial of I. I want to calculate the factorial of I. If you want to calculate the factorial of I, 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 is what we should write to get the factorial. But remember a point, every time writing 5 into 4 into 3 into 2, tomorrow if you go 8, again 8 into 7 into 6 into, it's a time taking process. Without that, if int provides me a method called as factorial, I can call it directly now. Let us see whether I have any method called factorial inside the particular int or not. I dot. Unfortunately, I don't have any factorial method here. Unfortunately, I don't have any factorial method available in this particular place. And because the method factorial is not available, I am not able to call. But if it is present, I can call. So this is a point now. If it is present, I can call. Yes, if it is present, we can call, but not present. We'll do one thing then. We'll add a method into that int32 now. If you add a method into int32 now, you can call I dot factorial. Come on, let us try. Come back to our static class. No need to take another static class. We can do it in the same static class. Public, static, and what the method has to do? The method has to return the factorial of the number. So I'm just going to have a return type now. And I'll take return type as long because factorial means we'll get a big value. So I'm just using long factorial. Okay. And for this, what I'm writing, this int32 x. See now, test3 is a method bound to program. Factorial is a method bound to int32. Int32 is the type for which we are binding the method factorial. Like this, we can bind it to any, we can bind it to anything. And remember, this is a structure. And that's what we are binding to a structure now. Okay, fine. Now, if at all you want to find if you want to calculate factorial of the number, which number? Don't know. Which number? Right now the number is 5. Like this, tomorrow you want to calculate the factorial of any number. If you want to calculate the factorial of any number, first that value should be accessible to you in the method. That number should be accessible to you in the method. And remember, this I value is accessible to you in the method factorial in the form of x now. X provides access to the I value. Right now x contains the I value in it. Okay. See. So right now x is 5. X is 5. What is x is 5? Yeah, I is 5 means x is 5. If I is 10, x is 10. Whatever it is, whatever value you give there, the same value will be accessible to here. I am writing the code now. What? If x is equals to 1, factorial of 1 is 1 only, return 1. Again, if x is equals to 2, factorial of 2 is 2 only, return 2. Else means it is not 1, it is not 2. It is not 1, it is not 2 now. So if it is not 1 and 2, okay, I need to calculate the factorial of the appropriate number. Okay. So what we can do, we can use the concept of recursive functions. How? Return x into factorial of x minus 1. Return x into factorial of x minus 1. Okay, so this is a recursive function. We are just calling the same function again. So right now x value 5. If x value 5 means these two conditions are false, so it will come here. and now it returns what? 5 into factorial of 4. So what is this? 5 into factorial of 4. Means we are calling factorial of 4 again. Now it is going to call the factorial function again recursively. It is going to call the same function again. And now what happens? 5 into, now the factorial function is evaluated. Now the value of x is 4 now, and these two are wrong. Condition false, comes here. And what is x value now? 4 into factorial of 3. So if you evaluate factorial of 4, what is the result? 4 into factorial of 3. Because you are calling factorial of 3 again comes back. Two conditions false. Now come to else part again. Now it is 3 into factorial of 2. If you evaluate 5 into 4 into 3 into factorial of 2. You are recursively calling this now. Now it is factorial of 2. Now the control jumps here. Condition true. When the condition true, this returns 2 now. So what happens? 5 into 4 into 3 into factorial of 2 returns 2 now. Now calculate 5 into 4, 20. 20 into 3, 60. 60 into 2, 120. So what it returns now? 120. So it is going to return the factorial, that is 120. Okay. Now this is a new method what I defined now. Now come to test extension. Now watch it. I dot, you have factorial method in the list now. Earlier we saw we don't have any method called factorial, but now I have a method called factorial. I dot factorial. Return type is long. So let us capture. Long result equals to I dot factorial. Okay. Console dot write line. Console dot write line. Factorial of is comma I comma result. It's going to print the factorial of 5. That is nothing but 120. So like this, we can just calculate the factorial of a particular number. See, tomorrow you change this number. Now you're giving 8 here. So now it returns the factorial of 8 now. So whatever we give, it is going to return the factorial of the appropriate number. This is how we can just add the extension methods into the class or structure. Right now we did not add into a class, we add into a structure. And remember, this is a structure, first point. Second, we don't have source code of this and we added it, and mainly that is not in our project at all. It is present in base class libraries, but still a method has been added into it. Okay. Well, you can do this on sealed classes also. Let me show an example of that also. We don't have any sealed class in the project, but remember, string is a predefined class and that string is a sealed class. Watch. String str is equals to, I am declaring a string like this. I have a string like this. And if you just remember, this string is just going to be a combination of uppercase, lowercase, not in a proper way. It is not correctly in a lowercase or uppercase or proper case also. What is proper case? Proper case means every character of the first word should be in the uppercase. It is not in any particular format. It's not completely in lowercase. It is not completely in uppercase. It is not completely in proper case. Okay, fine. And what is it used? String is a sealed class. If you want, right click, again use the same option, go to definition, and it opens the metadata, and in the metadata you will notice string is a sealed class. It's a sealed class. And now I am going to add a method into this particular sealed class now. Which method? I want to convert the whole string into uppercase. Easy. Str is equals to str dot to upper. Console dot write line str. Now the whole string is converted into uppercase now. I want to convert into lowercase. That is also easy. Str dot to lower. There is a method readily available and I can call those particular methods and perform this. The whole string is converted into lowercase. But my requirement is I want to convert the string into proper case. I want to convert the string into proper case. So proper case means in every word first character should be in the uppercase. So str dot to, but unfortunately I have a two upper method, I have a two lower method, but Microsoft has not provided me a method called two proper. There is no two proper method available. So because the two proper method is not available for me, I am planning to add a method for converting the string into proper case. So the thing is, the method I am going to add right now is two proper. Okay, two upper is there, two lower is there. So let us add a two proper method into the string class as an extension method. Same again, come to stat class. Come on, let's try. Public static string to proper. This we are planning to add to string, and I am writing old str. What is this old str? I think the original string value. What is the original string value? This is the original string value. This comes into this variable old str. I just called it old str, that's all. So the value comes here, and finally after conversion is done, I want to store this in a variable called new str and send you back. So here let me declare a new variable string new str is equals to null, uninitialized variable. Uninitialized variable of a class, null. Okay. Now once the total conversion is done, this old str should be converted into proper case, and that should be in the new str. Well, let us see how to perform this conversion. And remember, what is the original string? This is the original string, and this original string you want to convert this into proper case. Okay, we'll do it. To convert this into proper case, I am going to write some logic. But remember, the whole logic here should execute only if the string has any value in it, any characters in it. In the sense, if you send me an empty string and ask me to convert into uppercase, I cannot convert, or proper case I cannot convert. So compulsory, it requires some value. So first thing I am checking that only. If old str dot trim, eliminate the empty spaces, dot length greater than 0. If the old str dot trim dot length greater than 0, what is the meaning of it? There are some characters present inside of it. It is not empty. It is not empty. Then only all this logic has to execute. If it is 0, I will say return old str1. What is that? You have sent me an empty string to convert into proper case, but there are no characters in it. I am going to resend that empty string back to you. That's all. So what it sent me back? Old str, means the empty string only will come back. No, there are some characters. Length is greater than 0. Length is greater than 0 means characters are present. Then we need to convert this into proper case. Okay, fine. This is the string, and you need to convert into proper case. In this process, every word's first character should be converted into uppercase. But unfortunately, the problem is there are some characters uppercase in the middle, and some characters lowercase in the start. So here the confusion is every first character should be converted to uppercase, and remaining characters should be converted into lowercase. And like this, comparing every character in the whole string will take a lot of time. So what I am planning to do is, first I want to convert the whole string into lowercase, because we have a direct method called toLower. Let us convert the whole string into lowercase. If you convert the whole string into lowercase, now you got a better clarity now. What clarity? What to convert? Every word's first character should be converted into uppercase. That's all. If this is a string, you need to convert this into uppercase, again this into lowercase, again this into lowercase, again this into lowercase, again this into lowercase. Why all the hell? First the whole string converted into lowercase. Now we have a better clarity. How many words are there? Identify them. In every word's first character convert into uppercase. Fine. Just come here. How to convert this into complete lowercase? Old str is equals to old str dot toLower. When I call this method, the old str is complete. This is the old str. It is converted into lowercase. Okay. So one thing is completed. The whole string is now present in the lowercase. Now I wanted to find out the number of words in the string. How can you find the number of words in the string? The string class provides a method called split. The method itself, name itself is telling you what it does. It splits a string. It splits a string. But when it is splitting, we need to tell Basing on what criteria do you want to perform the splitting? I want to perform the splitting based on the space. So remember, single quote, space, single quote. What is this? The splitting should be performed based on the space. So based on this particular space, it is now going to perform a splitting operation now, and it split this based on the spaces here and returns each and every word in the form of a string array, because the return type of the method is a string array. You can capture it like this. String array SARR is equals to string array SARR. So what SARR contains? SARR is going to contain the string values like hello, how, are you. So 4 items, and the 4 items are just going to be converted, are present in a string array. So SARR of 0, SARR of 1, SARR of 2 and SARR of 3, 4 values. What next? The next thing. Now let us use a loop and pick one by one word for each. String str in SARR. I am using a loop now, and by using a loop I am picking one by one word. First I got the first word. What is the first word? Hello. Where is hello? str. Now this word's first character should be converted into uppercase. To do that, what I am going to do now is I am going to break this particular string into a character array. How will you do? str.toChar array. There is a method called toChar array in the string class. This method will break this string into a character array like this. It is going to be broken into a character array. So now how to break it? By calling the method called toChar array. Now the return type of this particular method is a character array. Capture it first. Char array CARR is equals to. So now what CARR contains? CARR contains hello in the character array format. Now CARR of 0 refers to H. See what I am doing. CARR of 0 refers to H is equals to char dot toUpper. Under the char type we have a method called toUpper. It will take a character and converts into uppercase. CARR of 0. So understand what I am doing. I am taking this H now, converting this into uppercase and assigning it to the same place, and that is assigned back to the same location only. So what happens after that method execution is completed? This will be in the, this is going to be in uppercase H. And now I want to convert this back into a string now. Convert this back into a string. How to convert this back into a string? The string class various constructors in it. The string class has various constructors in it. One more time, go to definition. Yeah, this is class, and you see we have various constructors in the string class, and the first constructor takes a character array and converts that character array into a string. So we are going to use this constructor now and pass the character array to convert into a string. Okay, see what I am doing. Here I declared a variable new str. New str is equals to new string, and see this constructor. What is it taking? A character array. And what is CARR? CARR is a character array. So let us pass CARR. When I pass that CARR for this character array is now converted back into string and assigned to the new str. So what new str contains? Hello. Now the loop is going to run for you continuously now. The loop runs for the second time. When the loop runs for the second time, the same thing happens here with how. The same thing happens here with how. So what is going to happen? First, it is broken into character array. After breaking this into character array, now the first character in this particular string is converted into uppercase, and afterwards it is going to be converted into a string again, which is assigned to the new str. So what is the problem? The problem is every time it will override the value. First time new str contains hello, second time new str contains how, third time or, fourth time you. Finally, if you return the new str value, what we are going to get is you. The last word only will come because it is going to override this value every time. It is going to override this particular value every time. Okay, see, watch it. After the execution is completed, simply I'll say return new str. Actually, new str should contain the new value. The new str should contain the new value. But let us see what new str is going to return. Okay, it returns. Now come here. Let's uncomment this. Yes, watch, you have a two proper method now. Dot two, check, you have a two proper method. Earlier we don't have, now it is an extension method added into the string class. Two proper. Execute and see. If you execute, it won't print hello, how are you? What it prints is only you. Why? Because it is overriding the value. It is overriding the particular value. Which value? The new str value. First a new str contains hello, afterwards how, afterwards or, afterwards you. Overriding. But I don't want it to be overridden. I want it to be concatenated. Okay, first time assignment, second time concatenate. How do you know it is a first time or second time? Simple. If a new str is null, if new str is null, that is first time. Why? We declare new str null first. If new str is equals to null, if it is null, that is first time. What am I doing? Assigning the value. Else. What is else? Else means not first time, second time. Second time, the value should be concatenated here. So what you will write? I'll write the same code only. I'll write the same code only here, but we'll say plus equal. We'll say plus equal. What's the output? Hello, how are you? But spaces are missing. Okay, we'll add that spaces also here. Plus. You got your whole string converted into proper case. So this is the beauty of extension methods. See, when you're consuming the libraries, whatever methods are available, we can call them. But if you don't find anything what you are expecting, don't panic, don't worry. Simply go for adding a extension method. After adding the extension method, you can start consuming that method in other places of the project. Within the project, from other places, we can call the appropriate methods now. So string, we don't have a source code and we don't have permissions. And remember a point here, that is a sealed class. That is a sealed class. And I cannot recompile that particular code. Still I added a method into the string class. I added a method into the structure into 32. And I added another method into my own local class that is called as program. Okay, this is nothing special. These two things only are very important and special for us. Why? We are adding this method to into 32 and we are adding this method to the string. Okay, see, tomorrow if at all you are going to give an empty string here, so no value here, empty string. This is an empty string here. Even though you give an empty string, it won't give you any error. Why? We written a condition there. It's not giving an error. And you notice, I'm returning the empty string back and the empty string is printed here. See that one empty line break is there. It's not, cursor is not here. Cursor is on the next line. So cursor is not in the next line. Why? Empty string got printed. Okay. So don't worry, because there is a condition already present there. What condition? If length is greater than 0 only, all this logic execution should be done. Otherwise the logic execution should not be performed here. So this is the process to define the extension methods. Okay. Thank you for watching the video. For more videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Naresh IT.